So, you want to take a look at your competition, huh? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do exactly that. And not only am I going to show you the basics, I'm going to give you the breakdown by what campaign type, what keyword, what strategy to look at your competition, because there's a lot of different ways that that can be viewed inside Google Ads. So, let's just get into it. But before I walk into the Google Ads interface, I made a little document, as I usually do, and I want to show the best way how to evaluate your competition. It's pretty simple, but I'm going to use a car dealer in this case, and this is how to sell more cars with Google specifically. So let's spy on the competition. So with this, we're going to separate the campaigns. Your campaign should be already separated, and you should understand how they are separated. We do it by strategy. So we have different campaigns for branding, the name of the store, models, competitors, service, so on and so forth. And these are just some of the examples. So this would be a Ford dealer, Ford dealer, Ford dealership. We can see the competition for who's bidding on those keywords, but those should not be mixed in with new Ford Explorer because those are two different types of searches. That gets more into the strategy. But again, you have to look at the insights in your competition separated out by campaign. So that's step number one. And then I'm going to talk about campaign type and show you a couple of examples. There's all the different types of campaigns that we can have in Google Ads, but I'm only going to focus on two. We're going to focus on what we call a search campaign, or what my team calls a classic search campaign. And then we're going to talk about VLAs, which is known as Performance Max campaign types. So without further ado, let's get into everything right now. This is the campaign view of an actual car dealer's account that we have blurred out for anonymity's sake. Can never say that word right. Anyways, within this time frame, they spent $15,000. This is about a month. So just to give you some perspective and quantifiable results. So right now I'm looking at campaigns that only feature brand, so I can see exactly what our competition is and what our KPIs are for the brand. So how you're going to do it is you're going to actually click on any one of these campaigns. These are all classic search campaigns. So I'm going to click on this one right here. So when I click on that, I actually clicked on the one above because it's got a higher spend per day. And when I click on this, it's going to bring me to the ad group layer. I call this guy my gray layer. It's the one before the black layer, but I think Google Ads is changing their interface anyways. I've seen betas. So you're going to want to look for auction insights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press auction insights, and then I'm going to load that screen. Cool. So what this gives us is a table, and it breaks out a few different metrics. The one I look to first is overall impression share, which is shown in the first column. Of course, you can come in and set your columns any way you want. The one that says you, that is your account, right? And then you'll have a list of these other domains that are actually present and showing up for searches, again, inside this campaign. You can look at all of your competition throughout all your Google Ads or your entire Google Ads account. I just wouldn't recommend it because you don't necessarily know what your competition is doing. It could be bidding on your brand keywords, your model keywords, your service keywords, and that's why you have to come in either by campaign or ad group. Campaign, in our example, to know exactly what's happening. So in this campaign in our area, because again, targeted location is built into a campaign in our area, 46% impression share. So that means out of 100 searches, we show up 46% of the time, or 46 searches out of 100. We appear on the page. Now, that's not the absolute top of page or the top of page. So, that's something else. Now, if I go to absolute top of page, search absolute top impression rate. Okay, this is top of page rate, or absolute top of page rate, is the percent of your impressions that are shown as the very first ad above the organic search result. So this means that out of all the times we show, we're at the very, 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 very top 54% of the time. So that's about half, right, if we're thinking about searches. But the cool thing is I can see all the other dealers bidding in my area. And then once you have this information, you can either decide Is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? How long is my date range for? Do I need to add more money? Do I need to try different keywords? And it'll give you a lot of strategic advice. So I use this Auction Insights report probably the most frequent, meaning, week to week or every 2 weeks, to evaluate the competition and see if anybody's creeping in our backyard, because car dealers, at least in the Chicagoland metro, like to bid against each other and take business. So this is a classic search example. And if I go back to my handy dandy Google Doc, this is a search campaign. So now I'm going to go into and describe a PMAX campaign, which is only really for VLAs. There are other PMAX types of campaigns, like a local store visit campaign, but I don't want to get into that. I only want to look at VLAs because they are the more common one. Again, this isn't a video where I'm going to go over absolutely everything in utmost detail. I just want to give you guys the topical areas of how you can evaluate your competition. So if I go back, I'm going to use these metrics to evaluate my competition and see what I need to do. So let me show you now the performance max, which would be a VLA of that. And to refresh everybody's memory, what's a VLA? To refresh everybody's memory, a VLA, or vehicle listing ad, they might be called something else at this point, but it's these guys up here. It shows sponsored, it shows a picture, it shows a year, make, model, it shows a price, and it's in this format. It's not a regular sponsored listing or organic listing. It actually has a picture at the top placement on Google. So with that being said, okay, so now we're looking at campaigns that are model specific, and you'll notice the little magnifying glass here indicates a search campaign, while the little squiggle with the little star indicates a performance max campaign. So this is an example VLA campaign. Doesn't have that big of a budget. I want one with a bigger budget in this account. So I'm going to select this guy right here. This is a model campaign. It is a VLA, and it's model specific, meaning it's one model. Either, I'm not going to tell you exactly which model it is, but an Explorer or Escape or what have you. Think of that. Now I just clicked into that actual campaign and I'm brought to the Overview tab. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under Insights. Okay, so I'm actually in the Campaign tab now. So what I'm going to do is I click on Insights. I'm not going to go to Auction Insights, but I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. And in the bottom gives me this report called Auction Details. It defaults to impression share. It shows some lines. It also shows a table here with similar metrics how we saw Auction Insights under a search campaign. So this gives me similar details. I can choose different metrics to look at here. The first one I usually go at is impression share, and then I can see how much of the piece of the pie in our area are we showing up for. And for this specific instance, we're actually well saturated, 85, almost 85%, 84.5% impression share, and we're quite higher than the rest of our competition. I can also see things like the overlap rate, like how much out of each search do we actually show with another ad, and we can see the outranking share. How often do we outrank them? So meaning this is our first competitor. We outrank them 67% of the time, or almost 68% of the time, meaning that we actually show in front of them. So the long story short of this analysis on this individual campaign is to say, okay, we're actually pretty well saturated here. We're hedging off the competition quite well. Our budget's positioned well. We just need to keep monitoring it and making sure that we keep doing the same things and the right things. So guys, that's pretty much it. That's a quick way to see your competition in Google Ads. This is a series on how to sell more cars. Why would this help you? Well, I think you know why. If you're positioned better and most effectively using your Google Ads budget against your competition, then you will inevitably sell more cars, all things being the same. Hope this helped. Look forward to more videos coming out on the Sell More Cars series with Google Ads. This is David Feldman-Makrias, and I will see you again real soon. Thank you.